Hello, my name is Caroline and I'm going to give you a wee tour of my garden in Ballywalter. So, where will we start? We'll climb in the middle to start. So this garden was only put in last year during lockdown, so most of it is grown from seed. It is fake grass because although I love gardening, I do not like cutting grass. I see no point in it. I'm sure plenty of people will disagree. So I started with a box hedge, well, an attempt at a box hedge I should say, but that is all from cuttings that I bought a wee tray of in a DIY store about 15 years ago for £1.99. Every single piece of box you see in my garden will be originally from that tray. So these are my foxgloves. Now they're actually a variety called Foxy, the middle ones there, and they're a new perennial. So they just keep going. I don't need to worry about them bringing on new ones the year after. I did leave a couple of natural ones in as well, because they sort of just make themselves at home, and why not just let them grow. I've got hostas at the edge here. Now this is late May, so everything isn't out quite as nice as you maybe would want it to be. That is a wee peony. I have no idea what that's going to look like yet. My mummy gave me it and I thought I'd killed it last year, but thank goodness I didn't. The lupins are grown from seed. They were propagated last year, so this is my first year seeing them flower. I am hopeful that they are going to be lovely. I don't know what colour they'll be. Obviously we'll have a wee lemon one there, but I did buy these 3 plants. I'm not going to be able to remember the name of them, but these two and this red one, did buy them as full plants, I have to admit, and that wee one was a gift from somebody. I've got wee creepers at the edge, so say it'll be a year or two before it all settles in and fills out. Here are my James. I love a James. Hubby's not quite so sure, he thinks they're a bit untidy, but I think they'll give you a lovely pop of colour and very little work is involved with them. This hydrangea is it Glamrock or Jazzrock? Glamrock? I think it's called Glamrock. Again, it's its first year in the garden, so we'll see how it turns out. Probably maybe needs a year or two. These, I can't pronounce it. Pontelia? Anyway, they're red and they will cover up. They start to flower when the James start to fade. So there's always a constant sort of red flower from May, as you can see, through to about August. Wee heathers, just for a wee bit of evergreen towards the edge of the grass. And my hostas, which will probably get eaten because I don't use any chemicals, any pesticides, slug pellets, nothing like that. I don't approve, so they will not look great, but you know what, it's nice, it's green, and it's okay. This is my verbena bonaris, the big tall one. It looks spectacular whenever it gets going. Really loved it last year. It was grown from seed and its first year in, it was like 4 foot tall and wavy and open and just lovely. In the middle of this here, this wee one is a buddleia. Is it a tricolour buddleia or something? It hasn't flowered yet. I don't know if I've sort of swamped it, but I'm hoping it's going to take hold and get going well. Shasta daisies. I thought they were going to be tall. I thought they were due to be about 3 foot, but this seems to be the height they're getting to. But that's okay. They're pretty, and again, they were from seed last year, so I've only seen like 2 flowers on them. So I'm hoping in a few weeks' time they will be good. Pampas grass is not meant to be here. I'm a sucker for a free plant, and we moved into this house 7 years ago and it had self-seeded in the back garden, so it was very small, and I moved it out here thinking, oh, free plant, front garden, be great. Yeah, not so great. It's massive and I need to get rid of it. I may tackle it this summer. The geraniums, lots of different geraniums. Again, I think they're just easy to take care of. You don't really need to do anything. Bang them in and leave it be. This one's just starting to come into flower now. This was robbed from my brother-in-law's house. He was digging them out, so I took all the little bits, and that was last year. These two I think I bought in a pack. And that one, sorry. And basically any geranium that doesn't look like that one has been bought. What else have I got? My gladioli. I didn't put them in deep enough last year. And I haven't changed it, so it'll be the same this year. Because I didn't put them in deep enough, they sort of fall over in the wind. This yellow shrub I put this in. I think that's called Patelia as well. I'm sure everyone else will know better than me. All of the little pansies that you see have self-seeded from someone else's garden. So there's pansies in there. There was a few in there. I just let them go. You know, if they're pretty and they like it and they want to work, just leave them be, is my opinion. This is a mock orange. Again, these two plants are only like 2 years old, so I haven't really seen anything. And down here, I believe this is a forget-me-not. Again, self-seeded, but it's pretty, so why not? Then there is a box here. I don't know if you can see. That's a manhole cover underneath that. So I put a wee bit of grass on it for the green. And that planter is actually an old safe. I just thought it looked nice. It was a bit shinier last year, but I think it still looks nice. And I think I've got the old geraniums, can't remember the name, Campanula, and then a cordyline maybe stuck in it. The climber is doing well. The shed has been there about 3 years. I pulled it into the garden a bit just to give me a bit more room on the other side. The wee climber is doing well. And down here, at the moment, these aren't very impressive. Ignore the weeds, there's lots of them everywhere. This is Liatris, which was put in for the butterflies. Yeah, they are lovely. They get absolutely swamped with butterflies and bees whenever you come out in the summer. They are totally filled with wildlife. So there you go. That is the front garden, which is to say it was only put down last year. Oh, I forgot to tell you my James. The wee yellow ones, I think they're Lady Stratheden. And the other one is Mrs. Bradshaw. I quite like the look of the yellow. That's the first time I've seen them flowering because they were from seed last year as well. Okay, and that's everything here. So let's go through to the back. Now, I know my cameramanship is not very good, but we're going to have to live with it. This area is my potting area. So it never looks that tidy. Sometimes I take a wee notion and I tidy it up. But we'll have a look anyway because you might be interested. This is my greenhouse. At the moment I'm trying cherry tomatoes that fall down. Muscata or something, muscata. And sweet millions. They were both grown from seed, so I think they're doing okay for this time of year. That's a tray of seedlings that my mummy has sent me round. Those Crocosmia geraniums. The end ones I've actually grown, that's them there. They are supposed to be the polar bear zinnias. And those are petunias that I have grown from last year's seed. I'm slightly worried with the whole Brexit Northern Ireland thing. We might not be able to get too many plants, but it's okay. But a lot of seeds were done. And that's lobelia from seed, which I found hard. I didn't get that many, like I had thousands of seeds and only got about 12 plants in the end. These are my husband's electric daisies. We saw them on Gardener's World and they looked fascinating, so he has grown them from seed out in his man cave. I know, everything looks a bit dry, but I haven't done my watering today. A couple of wee boxes. I keep taking snippets of rosemary and planting them. They grow well, but I just love doing it. Over here, that's my window box for all year. So I have some evergreen stuff in it and some of those petunias you'll see will go out to it. This wee stand has my primulas in it, auriculas. They're past their best now. I do want an auricula theatre, which will protect them, because this year whenever it rained and got windy, the big stalks or big flowers fell down. Grew them from seed, yes, I know, you can see a theme here. Most of them are yellow, everything on that top shelf is yellow. The bottom two are blues, 2 different shades of blue. And the wee camper van was a present from my friend. And it looks lovely in there, nice and bright. This is where I've just left it in pots of things that need dealt with, really, to be honest. I'm trying to bonsai a wild tree. Not exactly sure what it is. Obviously it was grown from seed. I think it's about 3 years old. Couldn't really afford a bonsai tray, so it's in a shortbread tin. But I don't think the plant minds. It doesn't seem to notice. Another little hydrangea cutting, very small. I know she's a bit burnt, but we'll get there. Some fuchsia cuttings, sage. Nice fern. I do love a bit of fern. Now this bed, which goes up the side of the conservatory. This is my bamboo. There's 2 varieties here. One of them seems to be quite healthy. The other one isn't doing well. The one that isn't doing well has been in about 4 years, I think. I'm not a bamboo expert. They shouldn't be in planters apparently, but this planter doesn't have a base in it. It's just a raised bed. So I think that's why they do all right in here. You can see where the big one has sort of run out to the front of the bed, but there are no runners in the ground around it anywhere, so I don't think the roots go that deep. I keep a few herbs here, just because it's near the kitchen. I've got thyme, which you're going to see a lot of. I do love thyme. Sage. My sage is about to flower, so that's probably going to look a bit prettier in a week or 2. But I mean, it's lovely the way it is. And over there, my biggest rosemary. Probably the one all the cuttings have come from. And then the bamboo that's not doing too well. And then we move into my courtyardy type area. I call it my Japanese area. My husband calls it something entirely different, involving the dog. But we'll start here. So this acer came last year. I bought a couple from England. I think they were like £5 each, and that's one of them. My climber is a jasmine. It will pick up later on. This is a dwarf cherry tree. It's more ornamental. The actual cherries do not taste good. But the blossom on it, whenever it blossoms, it's stunning. Absolutely beautiful. Wee fern in the back starting to take off. Another wee acer. Again, that's from the same set. I bought 2 from England, posted over, and then I got 2 in the local garden centre. I think they were like £2.50 each and £5 each. I tend to buy my plants very small, very cheap, and then it gives them time to sort of get a bit more impressive. Another hydrangea cutting. I don't know what colour most of these hydrangea cuttings are going to be honest, because I went round again to my brother-in-law's and robbed some white cuttings, and most of these are going to be those cuttings. A couple of them are from an original hydrangea, which is the old sort of pinky blue one, which I have now had to take out because it was getting too big. The dwarf conifers, I got last year a pack of 6 sent over on my order from England. It was a 6-pack. They were a really good price. They came very small, bit limp looking, but do you know what? Once they got some soil and some water and some sun, they've come back beautifully. The box ball, not very well trimmed, but I do my best. Again, that's from the cuttings that I was talking about from the front garden. It's a nice wee lantern. My mummy bought me that for my birthday one year. And then another acer, same story as all the wee ones. So this planter, I lost my job last summer and they were clearing everything out of the shop, and that's a filing cabinet. So filing cabinet on its back, and I sprayed it black. First time I've done it, the mistake I made was I put the soil in and the plant's quite soon after. So you can see the soil level is really low. I should have maybe filled it and left it a few weeks and then put my plants in. I still think it's going to look good though. I mean, it's grand. That hydrangea was from IKEA. It was like a wee one that we're selling off for $1.99. It was a bit dried out. This is its first year in a proper big pot, so we'll see how it gets on. I can't remember what the plant is in the middle, and at the back there, this I think is the snowball plant. Viburnum maybe it's called, I'm not sure. I think the flowers are meant to be bigger, but again it's only its first year in there, so we'll see how she gets on. Okay. This is my wee water feature. Now this one's solar, so that's why she's not pumping away there at the moment. A couple of wee ferns. Slightly bigger acer in a pot. And then in front of it is the mint. I love growing mint. See if you've never grown anything before in your life, just buy a pot, put some mint in it. It dies away in the winter, comes back in the summer, spring. You don't need to do anything with it, just put it in a pot and watch it grow. I do have some lemon mint and some spearmint. Spearmint's lovely actually. I don't know which one that is. Another wee acer from the ones I was talking about last year. And in the back there is the hostas about to come. As the season goes on and things change, the pots all get moved about. So that hosta, whenever it's full, will come out a bit. And this azalea will go in a bit. The azalea is gorgeous. You do have to keep it well fed and watered. I think you have to water them well over the winter so they don't dry out basically. Because if they dry out over the winter, the bugs fall off apparently. But this one did well. This is it coming to the end of its flowers. You can see they're sort of starting to brown slightly. But it was so glorious and bright whenever it was in full flow. Another hydrangea cotton. Yeah, I'm not going to talk any more about them. I'll just point out what they are. This acer was about 3 or 4 years old. Again, I'll have bought a wee cheap bit somewhere. I've never paid any more than £10 for an acer. Most of them, to be honest, are like £2.50, £5. That's one of the dwarf conifers that I was talking about from the set of 6. This, I am not sure whether this is a azalea or a rhododendron. I think I went out buying it looking for a rhododendron, but a small one, so I'm not sure. Again, this is about the flower. There is what the flower, hopefully you can see that. That's what the flower will look like. It was kind of it to give one up to us, first to see what's going on. Wee magnolia. She looks lovely when it's flowering. Obviously it's past it, magnolias are gone now. A hydrangea, which we are no longer talking about. And here, this was my husband's toolbox. It was like a spare one he had for plumbing. I took it, sprayed it, and I've just put some spare, that's the rosemary off cuttings that I've talked about. Bit of the mint there, it's in its own pot even in there. Parsley, coriander at the back, and sage. I did have some thyme in it, which is what the red stuff is. And this plant is called the Sherlock. He's very helpful. He likes to help the other plants out if they're looking a bit dry. He'll sort that out for them, won't you? Another slightly older acer stuck in the corner. Bit of the original hydrangea. It broke off, so I popped it in a pot, and there's a wee conifer hidden in there as well. Okay. You gonna come with us, Sherlock, out to the main garden? No, probably not. This high planter, I'm not great at these because you've got to water them and remember about them, but my husband wanted to plant some parsley for his Christmas dinner for the stuffing, so that's what we did, and it worked out really well. Monty said on Gardener's World you should only have 1 or 2 plants in that space. To be honest, we just filled the whole lot, and we kind of like the size they are and the little shoots rather than big ones, so it's okay. Another hydrangea, but this is slightly different. Can't remember the name of this one, but it has the longer sort of flower rather than the round one, a white one. That will be lovely when it comes out. The little pot below it is where a piece broke off, and I've stuck it in a pot and set it beside it. Mostly because then I'll know which one it is. As you've seen, I've got a lot of hydrangea cuttings just because they're so easy to work with. So that one's there, so I know what it is. Behind it is an elder. I absolutely love this plant. I think is it Nigeria sambucus or something like that, but it is beautiful. Actually, I might go around the other side again and show you the flowers on it that are about to come. I don't know if you can see that, but that's the flower head that's about to come. We made elderflower champagne as a wee trial last year from this plant. Oh my goodness, it was lovely. Absolutely lovely. So this year we've sort of ramped it up and we know what we're doing better, so it should be even nicer. Sorry I'm talking so much. I should let you have some silence. But so, blueberry plant. A lot of people say they don't do well in the garden. I haven't checked my soil. I'm not that sort of person. I'm the sort of person that puts it in the ground and hopes it's going to grow. But we get a massive amount of blueberries off it, and they are lovely. There's still some in the freezer from last year. I'll do both sides at the same time. So that is a cutting from that elder. I had a mallow plant in here and it grew beautifully for a few years and then just died. Not my fault, honest. So I decided to put in a cutting of the elder because you can use the flowers from it and it's productive and it's quite pretty. We thought it was the way to go. You'll see a couple of hostas in there of a different variety. Can't remember the name of this plant, but it has a nice wee white flower. Foxglove seedlings, if they're not in my way, I'll leave them for a couple of years and get a couple of nice flowers out of them. Hostas again. This variety with white edge, that's the one that I put in the front garden. Actually, this shrub here, which is filling the whole thing, this is a dogwood, Cornus albus. Really easy to take cuttings from. Really, really easy. Stick a stick in the ground and that will work for you. I was trying to have a solid feel to the left of this path here and the right. And this garden is, I've been here 7 years. We've been here 7 years. This was all grass originally. I'll try and get you a good photo of the whole thing later on, but yeah. I laid all of these paths by hand, just me. Lifted every single stone off the lorry. And they are like this because it was the most economical way to do it, to be honest. It will be changed as time goes on. So this area here is my woodlandy, shrubbery type area. We want a bit of growth here so it's a bit more solid, a bit more privacy between the two houses. Bit of a gap here, and I had just got new seating, so I took my old bench and just plopped it in the space. And yes, here's the hydrangea cuttings. So, 2 of them actually got as far as flowering, and so they are the white ones from my brother-in-law's house. Planting in there, there's a lovely yellow that comes out really early. Don't know what it's called. My mummy gave me that wee clipping. In the back there is the dogwood and cuttings that I took that I'm saving for somebody. This, I have no idea what this is. No idea at all. The leaves look gooseberryish, but obviously it's not. And then you have a wee yellow flower, which is just, I think that's just coming. Pink. The pink plant flower is a Vigila, I believe. But that was taken from a cutting that I took from the car park where I worked. Don't tell anybody. That cutting was about, what, 6 inches long. So yeah, I had this in a pot for a while in the old house, so that plant probably is more than 7 years old. This, I think this is the mock orange. This comes out in an absolutely gorgeous white flower. Absolutely adore it. This side of the garden, there's Sherlock's out to see us. This side, this little bit gives me a wee bit of problems. That large rose is a pink, a beautiful baby pink rose. I don't know what it's called. This little yellow one, which is lovely. This is it Uncle Albert? Prince Albert? Uncle Albert? I think it's something like Uncle Albert. It's a lovely yellow, but the bud starts off. Can you see that? Probably out of focus. The bud starts off like yellow with a red around it. But whenever he's fully out, he's yellow. I tried ranunculus in this wee bit of underplanting. Beautiful the first year, but I didn't the second year. But you can see how pathetic it was the second year, and it didn't come back. So I wasn't impressed with my ranunculus. 2 lupin seedlings that I had left over, just banged them out here because it was spare ground. I know that's a wee weed, but I think it flowers quite pretty, so I'm just letting it go for a while till I decide exactly what I am underplanting in here. And these were carnation cuttings that Mum gave me. Again, see how it goes. More of my time. That's the lemon time. That is beautiful. Whenever you rub the leaves of that, you get a gorgeous lemony smell of it. Absolutely beautiful. This, I think, is a spirea. Pink, beautiful pink. Butterflies love it. And then back round to this side. Barbarous. Not sure about it. I like it because it's easy, and this area, this bed was to be easy plants that I didn't have to worry about. Not sure, it's a bit spiky for my taste. This this is self-seeded. It was somewhere else. Again, I thought, oh, free plant, bang it in, see how it goes. It's actually filled out okay. It fills a space. It's fine, it's nice. Comes in, I think, a red berry. It looks quite good. Another little blueberry. More flowers on it this year than last. I think this is a pink blueberry rather than the traditional blue blueberry. We'll find. I'll tell you in another few months. And this is a plum tree. You'll see a few fruit trees. We love things to be productive. It has to look nice, yes, but it's also nice if you can get something out of it, which we'll see when we go around the garden a bit. So that is my new plum tree. That was only put in this winter. Another blueberry, but I still haven't got flowers off it. Obviously the soil's wrong. If I was to take it a bit more seriously, I'd probably dig it up, put it in a pot with a bit of herbaceous compost, something a bit more acid than what is going on here. That has a beautiful yellow flower. I think it's that Pontelia thing. But again, fills a gap. That is coming from this, which is another car park plant. Honestly, nothing is safe when I'm around. Yeah. So that is one of my cuttings from a 6-inch long piece. And then this is a little herb garden that I had, or a little herb container, sorry. I brought it down here purely to let it get a bit more natural water. Coriander, sage, lemon thyme, spearmint, parsley, and a nice rosemary in the back. If we swing along this side again. More hostas. This piece of bed did have gardenia, is it called? The blanket plant. Can't remember what it's called. It had a beautiful big yellow and orange flower. It looked stunning the first year. It was all grown from seed. It totally filled it. Turns out it's not hardy. Although I'm beside the sea and don't get a really deep frost, the first winter kind of knocked it off. We tried protecting it this winter, didn't really work, so I've thrown in a couple of little geraniums at the front here. Might just go with that. I mean, I do have one big plant of it still surviving, but that was the whole way around here. We'll see how she works out this year. I mean, you can see there's plenty of buds on it about to flower. There's a little one coming. We'll give you a better idea of the colour. But just imagine that a lot bigger. And here we have a cistus. I think the common name is rock rose, but it could be wrong, but it's a cistus. And again, just one pretty flower to, sorry, give you an idea what it's like. You can tell I did this video a couple of weeks too early, didn't you? And bit of hosta, had a wee spare one. The tree is my pride and joy. This is a cherry tree. This came from a hardware store and it was £10 and it was the thickness of a pencil, the actual trunk. You can see now how good the trunk is. That has been there, I think it's only been there about 4 years, maybe 5 max. But we got cherries off it last year. Very exciting. It's beautiful whenever it blossoms and then you do get cherries. We have to see if we can see any on it, maybe. Yeah, if you look closely, I can't get in close enough, but there will be, you can see bits of cherry there. And below it, Minifofia. Again, middle of summer, really, you're talking July, August for Minifofia to be beautiful. Really large, really full. It will be stunning. And my wee James. And the Pantalia, which was in the front garden as well. When you find something that's easy to grow, I just keep going with it. Let's go back around here and have a look at this circle. Big stone circle. I did get someone do that for me now. I did the pass, but someone else did this. Let's have a wee look. We've got him. I can't remember what they're called, but he's new and I love him because he's shiny. This is a grapevine actually along this full fence, if you can see it. It's supposed to be for colder climates. I can't remember whereabouts it's from, but it's from colder climates anyway, and it's supposed to give you fruit. Now, this is it at the biggest. I think it's 3 years old. I would assume I probably won't get any fruit till it's 5-6 years old, but I don't know because I don't know anything about it. I'm just guessing. You can see this, the stem or trunk of it isn't that thick. It's actually quite small. So this area, it's hard to see because I have the furniture here, but around the circle I have thyme. This is the common low growing thyme. The whole point of this is that whenever we're having barbecues or having people around, if you can step on it and it releases the smell and you're not worried about people damaging plants, it doesn't matter if they step back a couple of feet. That fern is a self-seeder again. If it finds its wee house and it likes it, just let it be. You know, I like it, it's lovely. This is lavender, which will come into its own a wee bit later in the year. We're a wee bit early for our lavender. So there, sorry my shadow's in it, but there is, you can see this thyme going the whole way around. This is my Crocosmia bed. So my husband built this for me. He made a really good job of it. It is lovely. We just got some free brick and a big plank of, maybe a scaffold board or a big plank of wood, I don't know. And he made that. When the Crocosmia is out, again, it's just a big riot of fire down here. It's stunning. I'll put some photos in, or maybe do a video later in the year as well. That's my lavender, 3. I know there's a bit along the edge there, but that's sort of a good one. That cordyline, my husband's going to shoot me about the cordyline. Again, it's self-seeded from my neighbours, and I'll let it grow. You can see where I keep chopping the top of it, because we do not want it to grow into a tree. It's in the wrong place. So I need to chop it again. They are surprisingly resilient. The big tree that we're standing under. Sorry, this is really bad cameramanship, but the big tree here, this is a sorbus. This has self-seeded before we arrived. When we arrived, this was all just plain grass, and then there was a hedge of conifers right across the middle of where that stone circle is, maybe further out than that, and that was self-seeded behind a conifer. That's why it's a bit twisty and bendy. so it's never been had anything done with it, but it is beautiful. The flowers are beautiful, the berries are really beautiful. I'll just show you the neighbour's apple tree. I'm sure they'll not mind, it's stunning as well. So let's go look behind this bed. This is a Dutch tub which my husband made. I will tell you the truth, the inside of it is an oil tank, but it's cleaned out and it works absolutely beautifully. I'll show you how it works around here. So this is the heater for it. You set a fire there, and then the water in the coils, the water goes around the coils, just the heat heats up and it rises, and then when it gets cold, the cold water just forces itself through the bottom, all very naturally. Got to light it quite early. If you want to be in the hot tub at 5 o'clock, you need to light it for like 10, 11. But do you know what? It was practically free. It's fun. It's just fun. There's a lot in this garden that is just fun. This little patch here, yep, little bit of fake grass. Again, I just like it. I know it's not to everybody's taste, but I don't have to worry too much about it. These really big grasses, which are probably too big for this space, they are from seeds, grown from seed, from a car park. So yeah, I took the seed off the plant. I love them. I know they're probably too big for where they are. They're probably a right age now. They're probably about 7 years old, I would say, because my mummy grew them on her windowsill from seed for me. And down here is a fuchsia, which comes out in a beautiful, beautiful pink flower. There's a wee Buddha snuck in there. I know this needs a lot of weeding, but we're just going to go around and have a wee look. This dark corner, I planted the wrong thing in here. I can't remember what I tried to plant, but it just didn't work, obviously. It's far too dark. So got a couple of ferns that had self-seeded elsewhere in the garden, brought them round. And that wee grass, I did put that wee grass in, but I think when it's weeded and you've just got the ferns, it's quite nice. You don't need anything else in it. So yeah, this is just a really quiet wee corner. I don't know if you've seen this boy through here. Maybe I could. It's actually a CD rack. I like buying things in the auction, and I needed something or wanted something else, and he was with it. He wasn't going to my house, so he literally just got put there. Again, I think it's fun, it's cute, it's just something for people to notice. I'm a wee piggy. Should have showed you him when I was round the other side. It's my wee piggy faces out, and he's lovely too. I'll very quickly show you Piggy from the other side. Sherlock's enjoying the sun. So there, so you can see the wee pig from your seating. Enjoying yourself, Sherlock? Okay, where will we go next? Next bit's a bit embarrassing. Lots of weeds. Square foot gardening. I made these beds, well, my husband made these beds for me for square foot gardening. So all 3 beds are 8 foot by 4 foot. They're divided into the square feet. This year, for some reason, I have so much, I think it's chickweed. Basically, I just need to get out and get it taken away. Also, this year, I did not put like a wee temporary fence around it. So Sherlock thinks it's pretty cool to go and lie on the bare soil and sun himself. So yeah, I didn't give this enough attention this year. I'm going to change things around a bit next year. What I do have is peas at the back there. My family love the peas. And my husband makes homemade wine, so the pea pods get used for that. Sounds terrible, but tastes lovely. Runner beans, dwarf French beans, nasturtiums, and runner beans. And corn. That's the glass corn. I don't know if you've seen glass corn. I'm hoping it'll still be okay. We self-seeded fern in the background. I need to paint these ladders. Some people aren't impressed my ladders aren't painted, but I will get there. So yeah, hubby and I made this. This bed, same idea, it's a bit too weedy. That's ordinary corn. which tastes absolutely stunning whenever you just pick it and straight from the plant. This was a spare planter that I didn't really need, so I decided to put in some sunflowers. Just because they will be a bit impactful and a bit nice. There's a couple of tomato seedlings in there. I find it really hard. I know a lot of people are the same, to throw out a seedling. So like I only needed 4 tomato plants for my greenhouse. So I thought, let's do an experiment and put a couple of them in here and see if anything comes of them. That means I know next year what I'm at. This bed is more successful and permanent. This is my fruit bed. Mostly raspberries, as you can see. There is actually autumn and summer raspberries in there. The amount of fruit that you get from raspberries compared to strawberries is ridiculous. You can see the amount of flowers. Maybe go a little bit closer. I mean, there's the amount of flowers just now when we're only starting off. This bed will be full. You get kilos from it. And David makes raspberry wine, which is really nice. And then I got a couple of gooseberry plants. Same idea. We use it for wine as well. Next year I think I'm going to move the gooseberries into the middle bed and get red currants. And blackthorn, is it called? That gives you slow berries. I'm going to put one of those in as well. Square foot gardening. I might change to 1 bed instead of 2. Going around this way still, we have a pear tree. This, a relative had this and it wasn't doing so well in pots. It is only a wee patio variety, but yeah, we get a lot of fruit off it and it's lovely. That is a climbing rose iceberg. Is it iceberg? Something like that. It's white anyway. It does okay. It's not amazing. I would have liked it to have been bigger by now. So let's go back over to this bed. Actually, we'll go through the archway. So you come up the path and then there's a lovely big archway, which my husband built. That is sturdy. And then with climbers either side of it. I laid this little stone circle. Actually quite proud of it. It's only on black plastic and sand. There's no cement, nothing holding it in. But yeah, whenever I was doing the paths, I did this. This little plant here, which has self-seeded, yes, and it's all around here. When I'm weeding it, I'm leaving those because then I will take them out and use them as plants somewhere else. Originally, I had a path through here, but again, everyone that has a garden knows things change every year. You decide you want to tweak it somehow. So that was a tweak. So when you're inside the circle, you have got the rhubarb bed. 2 of them were bought as plants. This big boy here was bought as a plant a few years ago. And the other 2 were from seed. Growing rhubarb from seed is surprisingly easy. I had no problem with it and have been able to grow it for other people. Definitely a good way to go. Second pear tree. From the same source as the other one, it was a patio one and it was in a pot and didn't do as well, so now it's in the ground. And then I had to put heather in here because I originally wanted a lavender hedge around here, but it's not going to work. The lavender is still there, a bit weak there. A bit better here. But it's basically a bit too damp and not sunny enough in this corner, so the lavender has to go. And these are Viali. Oh, you maybe can't see them. You'll be able to see them later. I've got 1 flowering, but this will all come up beautifully with a big, nice big patch of Viali. Okay. Back out. So this area That patio has been down about 3 years, I think. Someone did that for me. He did an amazing job. It was his idea to shape it the way it's shaped. We were going to do it slightly bigger, which wouldn't have worked, but he's done a beautiful shape on it, and it left us space to do this wee bed. I need to work on this bed. This one needs a couple of days work done to it. I haven't decided exactly what's working in it. The sacrificia seems to work well. The heather's okay. I can't remember what this is called, but it's nice in the summer. Butterflies love it. And that's my valley that we were talking about. Every single one of these that you'll see through the garden were grown from seed originally. And then it self-seeds quite nicely, so I just let it go. It means I can give plants to friends and relatives. On the patio, the box ball. Again, you know where the box ball came from. Nice wee butter feature. It's positioned so that we can see it from the sitting room. So with French doors that look out on this area, and we wanted this to be more evergreen, because when in the summer we're going to be out in the garden or in the conservatory, you're not sitting in your sitting room, so this is all aimed for winter. So that's a hellebore, which has gone over now, but it was lovely. It's starting to get a bit head. It's 2 years old, or I've had it 2 years, it's probably about 3 years old, but it's starting to fill out a bit. The big pot, I'm very proud of the contents of the big pot. The bay tree was grown from seed. I have 2 bays at the front of the house, which you haven't seen. So I grew it from seed. The rosemary was grown from a cutting, and that conifer is from the pack I was telling you about that I bought last year. And before we go into the fernery, and just show you one more thing around here. I bought 3 fruit trees last year. So remember I was saying about the plum tree at the other area? So that is another pear tree. And this is the apple tree from it. This thing beside it is not a weed. That's a rhubarb flower. It went to flower and we decided to let it go. To be honest, more curiosity than anything else. I mean, gardening's sort of about seeing what works. So yeah, we just let her go with flower. And I know it's not good if you're trying to get rhubarb from the plant, but we had 3 other healthy plants to get rhubarb from, so we don't need to worry about it. Right. And right here is my little hidden section. It's only toady. I think it was the last little space that I've reclaimed. A bit darker in here. So, this is my attempt at a stumpery, or something close to a stumpery. Ferns, hostas, a couple of Vialia, because I quite liked them around here, and they did cost me on because I already had them. My rhododendron didn't take. I don't know what's going on with it. I don't know. I've obviously done something wrong, but I might dig it out, put it in a pot, and see if I can resurrect it. I've never seen it flowering. In fairness, I bought it in a cheapie shop for $2.99 last year, so I didn't have high hopes, but see. The mushrooms, again, just a bit of fun. I think you should look around your garden and smile. That is a lovely fern that my friend gave me from her garden. Bit covered in, there we go. So it's coming back beautifully this year. Bought a pack of 3 ferns, which are not doing well, but I had let this get a bit overrun. So that's one of them there, silver Japanese or something. Sort of stuck some spare mirrors I had here. I broke one. Should have asked someone else to fit them, but just seemed quite a nice thing to do. These are your wild ferns. I think there's 2 different varieties there, but I'm no idea. And then in the very corner, that's about it really. Another little one of the ones that I've bought, which is doing okay. So that's it. That is a tour of my garden. Do you know what? I'm really going to just stand up here and see if I can get a slightly better high view. I'll go on the steps and give you a nice circle around the whole thing from what would be my front window. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed however long that took us. It's not a bad way to spend 10 minutes, is it? Okay, thank you and bye bye.